What's going on, y'all? We got some interesting drama to get in here and some calling out. Uh, Mike Ybarra goes at Microsoft again, but this time very aggressively in the right way. I saw this post by Brap, and I'm like, hold on, where did this go back to? And you know what? It goes back to Tim Dog's post. So we're about to get to that in a second. Um, yeah, a lot of people are just calling out Microsoft, and I tell people when it's happening by multiple people, you kind of have to pay attention to this type of stuff. So, guys, are we ready to get into this? All right, so going over, Tim Dog had a post said, I would have never touched, I would have, I would have never had Windows touch that effing ROG. It has Xbox OS on the handheld and plays those games on Game Pass, right? The current ROG Ally X should be effing partitioned and put just the Xbox OS on it. I know what he means. What the F are they doing? And he's sitting over here questioning Mike Ybarra, right? Like, what's going on? They actually had a good idea, but they once again didn't execute. It's haunting, basically. Mike comes down. This is where it gets very interesting, y'all. And he says, it makes sense to me since they are out of hardware and exclusive games. So what the official Xbox. That includes the dedicating OS. Hey, he's saying something here, guys. There's something to talk about here. So once again, are they lying to people? You see what I mean? Because according to Mike Ybarra, the in-house is done, and they're not even using their dedicated OS anymore. It's going to be somebody else's operating systems. Like dedicated console OS, closed ecosystem is what he's talking about, like a Windows 10 kernel for like Xbox One and Series XX. I think that's what he's talking about. Which is essential for any console device, ease of use, security, etc. Yeah, we know with the ROG that's not going to be the case. They are a publisher who will embrace Windows. He's telling you something. Most will just pirate all the games to the devices unless they use Steam. I mean, that's very true. That's a thing that definitely happens, as I told people. Everybody has always hated Windows for the longest. It's never really been good. You can't convince me anything about it. Windows Store was trash for the longest, and now you're being forced to go to Windows 11 with the creepy AI and spyware. Which you can take care of that down the line. There's going to be some alternatives to that. All right, most will just pirate all the games, like he said, unless they use Steam. Why does Steam help piracy? Because it's a flawless experience with a great return policy. Very true. So the reason here actually makes sense. Windows is far from a flawless experience and will never be 100% because it's Microsoft and they don't have us. Oh man, that's actually pretty funny. Oh man, that made my day. He's just basically letting you know the difference between those running Steam and those at Microsoft. And there's a reason why. Okay, remember that test? Even when we did that comparison test, it showed how much better Steam OS was than the Windows, and they had to like narrow some things down. And they learned that because of Steam. Like I tell you, they can't do anything right by themselves. Everything is just going to be annoying. So what he said right here is a very true statement because I don't see it getting better. I mean, Windows Defender is nice, yes, but everything else is worse. Windows is far from a flawless experience. It will never be one. Don't get me started with this stupid DirectX 12 shader compilation, all this stuff. It's like, why are we moving backwards? Like, so continuing, he says, from a business standpoint, it's a fine strategy. If they can make good games and embrace Steam, we'll sell on PlayStation, Nintendo, and PC, of course. Big if given track record of games for the last 15 years. Well, like I said, you're basically going to try to do what EA's been doing. Welcome to the party. Ubisoft has been doing. Rockstar has been doing. Capcom has been doing. Square Enix has been doing. Like, they've been doing this. Now, it's not like you did anything new. You're just trying to figure out that that's the only way for you to function now, since you cannot be in-house no more because it does not function on its own. It'll just tank off and go into a deep sinkhole to be covered like they did with Activision. Only a moron. Yeah, Mike Ybarra is calling people at Microsoft morons, by the way. So he's calling y'all. Only a moron will continue to make console hardware when the games all go third party. Yeah, what's the point? Because there's no point of getting your hardware if you don't have a unique identity that is separate from the rest of the world. Where you could be a unique imprint into the gaming world. You can say only here we have that identity, the social identity in 360, the shooter identity in 360, the party chat aspect along with that. The innovation of the console, the connection to it, like that, this is not there anymore. It just feels like some optional, oh, I can do this somewhere else then. What's the point? That's what I mean. You have no identity. You have no identity, that's a problem. It's an identity crisis issue. So there's no way to identify with Xbox. Now, when I look at the Series X, I don't have any, but I can identify with that. as like, no, just what's the point? You know what I mean? They even tell you don't need one. When I've never, like, some things I've seen, I was like, I would never see anybody come from a corporation or from a company and tell you not to go buy their product. That is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. When I remember when that was happening, I was like, wait, what? Okay. So he says that's not their strategy, which is fine, but for some reason they just keep riding the middle, right? Not being clear, like he said. No, let's go back to this though. It's a third party. To shift, they'd have to go back to exclusives, make great hardware at a loss, and strive to win the living room. Not happening. It's over. That's not their strategy, which is fine, but for some reason, yeah, exactly. They just keep riding the middle, not being clear, confusing people. Arthur confusion. Doing more harm for no reason. You know, like Outer Worlds $80, and it's your first time trying to go third party publisher? First time to go to Steam, then you reverse back and damage yourself? It's like, what are you doing? Like, these people are just suits. People who do not know anything about gaming, because nobody would be that dumb otherwise. And it's being in the middle, confused, not knowing which way to step. You just lost. Not being clear, exactly. Not, where's it at? Doing more harm for no reason. As I said 1,000 times, get a clear strategy and rip the band-aid off and focus on execution. Otherwise, death by 1,000 needles. 100% correct. I've seen Mike Ybarra do some posts a lot, right? This is this is the best one he's done. He's actually 100% correct about this. Also, ditch that this is an Xbox campaign. Yeah, I mean, it is the worst brainwashing I've ever seen. It is total brainwashing. I don't understand who's going to fall for this unless somebody's like 14 years old and has not really understood what this means and they're just openly susceptible to this vulnerability, or somebody that's being a shill or getting paid trying to promote. They're like, you're not convincing me. Like I said, I'm not putting an Ubisoft logo on my laptop and putting an Ubisoft logo on my phone and saying it's an Ubisoft device. Shut up. It's not. It's a damn laptop. And a laptop and a PC is a personal computer. It's customizable, so I can customize whatever I want into this. That does not mean because you put your little custom logo on it that you have transformed it into anything other than what it already was. No, it's a damn PC. My laptop will always be a laptop. You're not changing it to anything else because that's what its functioning is. That's what it is by default. So I can add in like an EA launcher, but it's not an EA machine. I can add in a Rockstar button on it to pull up GTA 6 because GTA is ruling the world. But is it a GTA console? Is it a GTA machine? No. It's futuring that, but it's still a personal computer. It's still a laptop. You cannot change that function. All this stuff, like you said, this is just stupid. And all it's going to do is confuse people. And once again, and make people not want to support you and like you. Wrong idea, wrong time. Xbox is about games. That's right. Games always rule the world. And if they don't have the parity between the console and any other device, then it is just not an Xbox. Confusing. Whoever came up with this clearly doesn't play games. Man, I've been saying this for years. Man, let's go ahead and get this going, man. You know, we're going to get this going after this because that's just a surprise hit. And then Tim Dog comes down. Death by 1,000. LOL, very good insight. And then Mike Ybarra, needles, cuts. It just feels like they keep pushing the needles in further and further. Cuts heal. I don't see any healing happening. Just more needle pushing deeper and deeper. Hey man, you're preaching to the choir, Mike. You really are. And honestly, I'm glad you came out and done this, dude, because in Tim text, yeah, I agree. Very well put. Pain is going to happen in any scenario, so you have to choose one. Correct. Just part of anything. Choose the one where you can get better. That's correct, not worse. Thanks for your insight. Always listen to everything you said and the stories you told me about how you got your nickname quick. Yeah. So yeah, Mike Ybarra is basically saying, yeah, Microsoft, you're not even, as you said, rip the band-aid off, man. Allow things to heal. You're just going deeper and deeper and damaging and killing it more and more. Yes. And that's what I was telling these losers, like this loser guy on my page. They're like, man, dude, Satya Nadella, hands sinking into the water. This is reality. Yeah, you're just coping. You're sleeping. You know what I mean? Because that's what they're doing. The suits coming in up. Actually, they're pushing it down. Just drowning. Get out of here. Stomping it. Curve stomping it. You know what I mean? No, give me my profit. They don't give a damn about that hardware. You better give me my damn profit. No, your stuff is not working because you are not PlayStation, where it's like Sony's PlayStation Plus. Guess what? All in the PlayStation ecosystem. There's no PlayStation Plus on PC. There's no PlayStation Plus on mobile, and it's functioning and making profit. You got Game Pass coming on PC. You got Game Pass coming on mobile. You got Game Pass, guess what? Not making profit. You want to know why? Because your first-party development cost is not being factored in. If you put something day and date on a service, you are literally tanking all of that profit. What you think that 150 million just disappears? No, you have to develop a game. If it costs you 150 million, it costs you 150 million. get it back to break even. If you're putting it on Game Pass, how are you gonna get back the 150 million on Xbox? That's not happening. So you got to branch out over here, put the game out on third party. Okay, now I can make the money back. That is the only way that can ever be possible. You don't have a system that functions on its own in its own ecosystem that grows and prospers. No, it goes down into the deepest sinkhole. And then they hit it with the Activision vanity and monopolize that with Bethesda stats, and they say, here's the revenue. Man, get out of here. That's all fake. Because, like I said, revenue, not what you took. They're going to all come take off to that. No. First party, give me all that. First party, give me all that. Third party, give me all that. Guess what? Sinkhole. So I didn't show it. Even with Activision. That's how bad it is, guys. And the 300 million loss, because you put it on Game Pass. See what I mean? You lost 300 million, guys. It's worse than Concord. Sony didn't go spend 70 billion to lose 300 million. That's worse than Concord, way worse, but nobody's talking about it in that way. It is, though. Because part of that stuff was funded from Sony. They got ESG funding. This is all Microsoft. They spent 70 billion on the corporate funding, and they lost 300 million after that. See, yeah, no, that's horrible. So you want to know what that means, man? You better get this ready for the Switch right now. Give me that extra money. You better get this massive third party. They can't afford to make it exclusive. They have to mass branch out. So honestly, that Activision deal was a curse. It was not a blessing. It cursed Microsoft even more. And the shooter world. And I think people are starting to realize that. It was a terrible deal. Shouldn't have done it. So there we have it, guys. We got Ybarra coming in here with a huge W. Telling it how it is. Same thing with Tim Dog coming with another W. Let me go ahead and give you another like. And I appreciate the shout out, bro. So we're just going to be doing that over here. And these are people who really knew what Microsoft was when they had a soul, right? Or Xbox, I'm sorry, not Microsoft. And just everything they do is just a mistake. Like I said before, why are you letting out all this anti-consumer behavior, then you launch your product? No, you should have done that, and then maybe a little bit, it just doesn't make sense. That's not building up, that's destroying everything, and then launching it. It's like, but all this heat on you like that? Damn, man. Yeah, I don't know what else to say to this about this company. But let me know what you guys think. Just telling the truth over here. Sorry, this has to happen. Because like I said, if you're the type that sits on the sideline, or you're the coach that sits on the sideline, and just lets people do whatever they want, you don't care about your team. You're just letting it destroy. You're not stepping in. You're not being aggressive. You're not being professionally critical. Get rough. Yeah. Ain't no crashing out. Later, y'all.